Joining me now to talk about this from a forensic standpoint, Joseph Scott Morgan, certified death investigator and distinguished professor of applied forensics, Jacksonville State University. I want you to listen to authorities here, and then we'll get your take coming out, kind of hitting on those points there as they look at the challenges ahead. Here's that.
From what I've learned through this process and what we've been told is no. The evidence will not, if we recover any evidence or anything, it won't be destroyed by being here for that long. Her body was burned, and we're going to be looking for any human remains, any bones, anything to help us bring Kelsey home.
Give us your take on that. There's evidence there. You're confident of it?
Yeah, and it's going to be particulate, Mike. And one of the issues is that just because it's there doesn't mean that biology stops. There will be decomposition even further than, say, for instance, when the body was taken out of the fire pit and then dispersed. First off, I don't know what condition the body was in when it was removed from the fire pit. How far had he rendered her body down? That's a process in and of itself to just get the body down to the point where it is particulate. That can sometimes take 48 to 72 hours of constantly tending the fire, and then to disperse the remains. Did he scatter ashes? Were they in ash form? Or do you have large segments of bone that are still intact? My suspicion is that by this time, there's going to be very little soft tissue left, and the soft tissue that is there will be significantly scored. So in one way, you have evidence of burning, which goes to making the case against this gentleman, and also you're going to have it kind of shielded, if you will, so that the outer soft tissue is essentially rendered in kind of a shielded encasing, if you will.
Wow. Okay. So I'm sure our viewers are wondering, for those searchers, if you get into the trenches with them as they're doing their job, what makes one of them say, I think I got something here? What are you looking for?
Well, they're going to be looking for carbon. It'll be kind of dark. Just think about your fireplace. If you have a fireplace at home or a barbecue pit, that residue that's in the bottom there. But in these cases in particular, you're going to be looking for fragmented bone. Remember, Mike, just because you burn bone doesn't make bone fragment and disappear. You have to burn it for a protracted period of time. We think about crematories. Those things burn at a very high temperature. He was not able, I can assure you, to attain that level of heat for a protracted period of time. You'll have large concentrations of fragmented bone that are still there. Hopefully there'll still be some soft tissue to attach it to. And at the end of the day, is there going to be anything that's viable there that you can actually put a specific identifier to Kelsey's remains?
So how painstaking is this?
Yes, it is tedious. I've worked several of these cases over the course of my career. First off, it's a dangerous environment. There's all kinds of sharp items that you can be clipped on out there. You've also got vermin. My biggest problem that I always had was having to deal with rats, which is horrible, I know, but that's the reality of it. And it is, like we said before, it's very laborious. You have to break this thing down into grids, have strict accountability. That's what they're doing out there, taking it down section by section, taking it out and spreading it. And if people will just think of a big sifter like you see archaeologists using, many times they'll put it in a sifter and try to weed through this. They're not looking at it specifically in situ or in place out there. They're taking it out and looking at it in a controlled area where they can control all of that evidence.
Okay. Always good talking to you. Joseph Scott Morgan on the story for us.